Yo, 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 what's going on, coaches? It's your man, Immanuel, back with a new episode of Multiply Your Sales. And today, y'all see, I got a very lovely guest with me. I got my girl, Dr. Sade. What's going on with you?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited about today's chat.
Oh man, I'm excited as well because this is a pleasure and an honor to have you on the show. I know you're about to bless a lot of the coaches that are tuning in, whether they're listening on the go, whether they're watching us over on YouTube. And one of the things I always like to do is kind of set the stage before we dive into our conversation, just so the coaches listening know who's going to be able to get the most out of our convo today. So we are definitely going to be helping coaches out there who've been struggling with their personal branding, as well as any coaches out there who are like, yo, I've been doing this one-on-one coaching thing and I want to see if there's some other ways for me to make money outside of having to always do this one-on-one coaching. So if you fit in either one of those boats or both of them, my girl, Dr. Sade, she about to help you today. So with that in mind, I want to kind of kick it off with asking you this question. Why do you think many coaches tend to struggle when it comes to getting their personal branding together?
So the thing that I think happens, especially if you're brand spanking new, the biggest struggle is, I call it the identity crisis. You don't know who you are and what you want to be in the marketplace, especially when you still got the milk on your tongue.
Right.
You're brand spanking new. You're like, I don't know who I want to be. So you start emulating and you're looking at what's in the marketplace. So in the beginning, I see a lot of people go through some sort of identity crisis. And if you're working with a coach or a mentor, sometimes you model what they're doing.
Right.
And I try to work when I'm working with entrepreneurs and experts and coaches specifically. The thing that I say is, like, you have to activate your brand trifecta. You got to activate it. And that brand trifecta is, number one, getting crystal clear about who you are.
Okay.
Who are you? What makes you unique? What makes you amazing, special? What's your secret sauce?
Right.
What can you do that everybody else can't do? Then the next element of that is getting clear about your target market. Who do you uniquely want to serve? See, you can't serve everybody. Serving my product, program, and service, lotions and potions can do everything for all people. It's not the case. It sounds cute, but it ain't going to be cute in your bank account.
Right.
So you want to get very clear about who your target market is. Then the last piece of that is, what is your unique offer? So that brand trifecta is you, your audience, and your offer.
Right.
You want to make sure, what's the offer that's going to make you stand out? That's going to be the solution, the difference maker for your unique target market. Combined with your own unique secret sauce makes you stand out. So I'll give you an example of a Facebook ad that I just saw today, and I literally screenshotted it. Let me tell you, I don't need this product. I don't need to show up. But because of how it was branded, I was like, I want to show up.
Okay.
So there's a virtual conference. I'm gonna say it's he's a coach. His name is the Drone Boss. He teaches you how to fly drones.
Wow.
I was like, oh, I want to go to the drone conference with the Drone Boss. He gonna teach me how to make a 6-figure drone business. Now, mind you, I don't need no drone, even though I want one. I don't want no drone business.
Right.
But it was learning from the Drone Boss.
Right.
He's literally coaching people how to use drones, what drones to buy, and how to set up their drone business. Because it's so niche, if somebody has that specific issue, it automatically makes him stand out.
Right.
I didn't ask how long he's been doing drones. It could have been yesterday. I didn't ask him no other, because of how he positioned it. I automatically assumed he must know a lot more about drones than me. So that automatically made him stand out from anybody who was a photographer coach who's teaching you photography. He's being very specific and very niche about the offer that he provides for people in the marketplace. So just today, I literally sent that to people. I was like, oh, I don't know about this drone conference, but we need to find out about what the Drone Boss got going on, because I like it.
Yeah.
So that's magnetic. That makes you stand out. It clearly will repel who is not interested. If you're not interested in drones and gadgets and gizmos, you're not going to be interested.
Right.
But for somebody who is, that's going to be right up your alley, because you're like, okay, wow, I want to monetize my drone. I want to turn it from, being a leisurely activity to something that can actually be a business. So find the thing that's going to make you stand out, and just like put a line in the stand and say, I'm willing to stand out on this particular topic.
Nah, that's good. And with that in mind, I kind of want to look a little bit deeper into your story. When you kind of look back on your journey as a coach, what would you say out of that trifecta were a struggle for you? Like, which one kind of tripped you up a little bit more than you might have expected it to?
Oh, let's go back to part one of the. Oh, no one's asked me that question before. You threw me a curveball. I'm here for it. The one that has tripped me up the most is me being okay with me. Offers change, audiences can change, but business is the one of the most challenging personal and professional development journeys you can go on in life. And I started my business in my mid 20s. I was like 25, about to be 26. It's almost 10 years later. And the biggest battle, the biggest challenge, the biggest issue, being okay with who God made me to be in this world. So in the beginning, I'm in my 20s, I'm feeling insecure. Like, I got all these degrees, but I'm like, I don't know business. None of them were in business. I was like, I thought you had to have an MBA. So I'm battling this insecurity thing. Then I'm looking young. So they like, how old are you? So I'm feeling insecure about my age, about my quality of level of experience. I'm feeling insecure because people are coming to me who make more money than me and they claim I can help them. And I'm just like, why are they coming to me? I don't understand, but there's something that they saw in me that was a value add to them.
Right.
So I thought I was going to be working with, going back to audience part, I thought I was going to be working with millennials because I was a millennial. Man, I'm an old lady. So, the millennials, they want the cool hipster. They want the well-curated Instagram feed millennial coach. I wasn't her.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but the people who loved me were older. They were Gen Xers, baby boomers. They was like, we like your energy. We like that, you like a golden girl, but you got energy too. You're young. So we can learn from you.
Right.
And so that evolved. Who I thought I was going to serve evolved. Offers. When I started, $80 for this, $80 for that. Listen, y'all can't get them $80 deals no more. They don't exist. Don't ask me about them. So offers evolve, can change over time.
Right.
But the biggest transition, the biggest challenge, even as I go into almost year 10 in 2024 of my business, is me.
Yeah.
A fight between me versus me. Who am I going to show up today? Like, even today was a challenge. I was like, talking about technology and gadgets. I couldn't get the lights was falling off. The dog was barking. I was like, okay, just focus. Like, none of that matters. Let's do what we got to do at hand. Because that's not, life is going to life.
It is.
So the battle is you. And then the transitions of me. I started my business overseas. Then I transitioned to be a doctoral student. Then now we're in this new transition where I've finished school. Then we're in another transition. We post-COVID. We survived this COVID pandemic.
Right.
And now we're post-COVID. Now we're in a recession. So there's new iterations of me. And the best gift I can give myself is being a better me and working on how I respond to things that happen around me. Because I was, listen, I'm from Jersey. I was ready to have a meltdown. I was ready to curse some people out this morning. I was ready. And I was like, got to work on you. How do you want to respond to this? How do you want to be? How do you want to show up today? So the biggest challenge remains in that brand trifecta is you. Because even if we look at other brands in the marketplace and if we look at even media and celebrities, the biggest challenge, they can change their industry and go into fashion. But the biggest battle of whether or not they're really going to be successful is them.
Yeah.
Some of them are leading to their own demise. And we can see it in different examples across branding, not even just coaches. We're seeing in the coaching industry. Some people are literally being the contribution to their own demise.
Yeah.
So the best and the most biggest challenge that we have is us.
Nah, that's real. And with that in mind, what did you do or what are you currently doing to overcome that when you face that challenge?
Woo, so okay, because I'm smart. If you need help with math class, you go to your math teacher.
Right.
You need help with chemistry, you find a chemistry teacher. So I was smart. So I knew if I didn't understand business, that coaching and mentorship was going to be the way to expedite it.
Right.
I understand that our most valuable resource is time. And I ain't got time to be trying to figure this nonsense out on my own.
Right.
I don't. I don't care about it, not interested.
Yeah.
Money is a renewable resource. Mm-hmm. You will get money back, right? If you bought that Starbucks this morning, or you got your smoothie from Smoothie King or wherever place you like to get your stuff from, that $4 or $5 you spent, you will get $5 back. But the time that you saved by not having to create your own coffee or smoothie because you went to one of them places out of convenience. Uh-oh, hello?
Can you hear me? Because I think it's lagging a little bit. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, that's weird. I think it's lagging a little bit. Hello? Can you hear me now? Yeah, I can hear you, but I think it's lagging though. Okay.
Are we good?
Hold on one second. Let me come off screen and then come back on and see if that helps.
Okay, let's try that. That's right. We are. Let me see.
Okay. Can you hear me now? I think now we're back in like real time.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, cool.
Are we good?
Yeah, because it was slowing down a little bit. So if you could go back to the part that you were mentioning with regards to like, whether a person get their smoothie, that's kind of where the last part I heard.
Okay, I'm gonna try.
Okay.
So what was I saying?
Well, let me just ask the question again, then we could kind of take it from the top if that works. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the question that I was asking was, when you look at, the challenges that you face primarily with identity, what did you do to overcome them? Like, what has worked for you?
So when I first started my business, because like I said, I'm a smart kid.
Yes.
I know if you need help with math, you find a math teacher. If you need help with science or chemistry, you find a chemist.
Right.
So when I first started my business, I understood that mentorship was going to help me save my most valuable, precious asset, which is time. Mm-hmm. We don't have time. We can get money back. Like I said, if you bought something from Starbucks today, $5, $7, you can get that $5 or $7 back.
Right.
But the time we would have spent making that coffee this morning, we don't get that time back. Nope. Right. So there's an exchange for convenience and speed, and money loves speed. So I wanted to go to people who, number one, understood my journey, understood what I was experiencing, and could help me step into this business space. Mm-hmm. So I early on was a heavy investor in business coaching and mentorship. I was working on my PhD. I would go to class Monday through Thursday, and then I would be at business events Thursday to Monday night, and I'll be doing it again. Literally, they'd be like, "Are you going to be in town this week?" I got another event to go to. Because what I understood was I needed help. Mm-hmm. But I knew that this was not academic help. Mm-hmm. I needed entrepreneurial help. Mm-hmm. So I needed to find people who understood business. Right. So mentorship really helped me boost my confidence, putting myself out there and doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Doing it insecure, doing it afraid,
right.
Doing it when I didn't have an idea of what I was doing. Because people told me I was doing stuff, and I was like, what are y'all talking about? I don't understand what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I was doing it anyway. So even throughout that process, I was still doing stuff. And then I had to get to a point where I was like, wait a minute. I actually know some things. I need to stop playing these reindeer games.
Right.
Like, I need to stop acting like I'm an amateur out here because I'm tired of being paid like an amateur. Mm-hmm. Step into your expertise. Mm-hmm. Step into who you were born to be. Right. And it wasn't me getting a PhD. I was this person before that. Mm-hmm. I was this person without that. Mm-hmm. I was producing results. I had a 6-figure business before I had that. I was, while I was still working on my full time as a doctoral student. Mm-hmm. So I just needed to accept who I was. And I think it was earlier this year where somebody came up to me and was like, man, you helped me all this time ago. And I was like, wait a minute, that was like, now the years are coming, this newbie situation, you like I said, you were OG in podcasts. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, you were veteran in this game. You know this person, like your network is just mind boggling. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait a minute, I had to kind of go back and read myself, my resume. So like I had to remind myself of who I was.
Yeah.
And another piece of this is, in addition to being in communities, being in masterminds and coaching, another thing that I am a proponent of because again, I got to work on me.
Right.
It's therapy.
Right.
I say this on the podcast
right.
now. Go to therapy. Get your life together.
Right.
If you want your business to be good, you got to be good.
Fact.
Your love life, your family, you have to be great. This calling that we have to be visible and create content and support leaders. That's not a light load.
Not at all. Not at all.
That is heavy. So we as human beings have to make sure we're so protective of our mental health. And for me, as somebody who was working on a PhD and working on a business at the same time, graduate school students, there's a high propensity for depression and mental health challenges as you're going through graduate school. Most people don't finish their PhD programs. We're talking about 1% to 2% success rate. The same vein in entrepreneurship, we are some of the highest group of people who are depressed.
Yeah.
So I'm doing two things that are very difficult that only 1% to 2% of people have success in. And I have a greater propensity for depression and mental health challenges because of the two things I decided to do at the same time.
Right.
So on top of a COVID, on top of trying to have a dating life, on top of trying to your family and friends and life, we didn't even talk about life. We just talk about two elements.
Right.
So I realized I was like, okay, I need some additional tools. That's what I'm always asking my therapist. Okay, I need some tools to handle this situation.
Right.
Because Sade from Jersey want to take it straight to the streets. But Dr. Adu, we try to be better.
Right.
Dr. Adu is trying to show some level of emotional intelligence. So what are some new tools that I need in order to cope, handle, or avoid situations that don't that are not befitting of who I want to be and who I want to become in this world, because I got a bigger purpose. So I definitely will say, how do we combat this? Get mentorship and help. It will expedite it. You don't got to figure this nonsense out on your own. That's whack.
Right.
DIY, trying to figure it out. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. We don't got time for that. Get mentorship and coaching and find the right people. So I know a lot of people there's like, just like we got church hurt, we got coach hurt. And the thing I had to realize, spending a lot of time with affluent and wealthy people, there's some good wealthy people, there's some good affluent people, and there's some bad ones. Find your good people.
Right.
And throw the other ones away.
Facts.
You know, this could be a dating analogy. If they not acting right, you throw them right back out there. So I just had to realize, like, okay, some people are going to be your friends. Some people are not. Some people are going to be good experts and coaches. Some people are not. Like, find your right people and don't allow yourself to be dismayed or discouraged because you just found the wrong people in the beginning of your journey.
Yeah.
It's okay. There's 7 billion plus people in this world. Be on a journey of finding your great people.
Right.
And that really has been the thing that has moved the needle for me tremendously. And I'm still in that process. Like, you know, I'm not where I want to be, but I know I'm going in the right direction.
Right. Right. That's huge. That's huge. And before we kind of continue on in this vein, right, I want to summarize some of the things that you've already pointed out for our audience and the coaches that are, you know, listening. And that's first and foremost, like when it comes to branding, you have to be aware of that trifecta, right? You know, yourself, your audience, and your offer, right? You got to get all three of those together. And when you look at the one that tends to trip most people up, it's that identity piece, who you are. Whether that's overcoming feeling inferior or feeling like you are not worthy of, you know, that high ticket price, or that you're worthy to help the people that you've been called to help. And then in order to overcome that, pretty much to heal from that. Because like you mentioned, it's a hurt, whether it's external or internal, the fact that a person doesn't have that belief that they can do it, that they deserve it, you have to go get the healing. You have to go get the help. whether that's a therapist, whether that's a coach, whether that's a mentor, understanding that you shouldn't go alone on this journey. So I just wanted to really summarize those three things that I think that you really pointed out that are vital to any coach out there who's struggling with getting their personal branding together. Is there anything else that you would add to those that I may have missed?
Oh, that part about just charging. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So the whole goal of our businesses is an exchange of commerce. Many of us started these businesses because especially if you're a coach, you wanted to help people.
Right.
You wanted to get them to a transformation and a breakthrough. And for some reason, we believe we're supposed to be charging minimum wage.
Nah.
And I'm like, you would never accept this at a job.
Right.
If they're paying you $7.25 an hour, you're going to be like, I'm not even looking that way.
Right.
But for some reason, we think with our gift, it's okay to be the bargain basement. We're not even charging Walmart level because Walmart is still $1 billion brand.
Yeah.
And and I'm like, this doesn't make sense.
No.
So the faster I can get someone to overcome that hurdle, the better.
Yeah.
Because I would have had a multi-million-dollar business by now if I would have just charged more.
Yeah.
It's simple. I could have kept the same amount of clients, kept the same offers. But if I would have charged $1,000, $5,000 more, I would have made more money. So I'm trying to tell people, learn from my mistakes.
Right.
Charge more faster so that you can get to your goals faster, so you can make the product better. And another piece of that is that imposter identity, or what if it's not perfect? And I tell people, somebody's like, well, what if it's not right? It's not perfect. And then I pick up my phone. I got an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
And I say, you let these people be on level 15, product option 15,
right,
and test us. We the test dummies for this product.
Right.
And it's
paid testing.
a $1 trillion company.
Right.
They're going to be one of the first $1 trillion companies. We're not even talking about billions no more, because they let us test this product times 15.
Yeah.
We sold it out every time.
Right.
Then we get mad when they have an update, and we tell them why we mad, and then they fix it. But we feel like our first iteration of a product has to be perfect. Right. And then the former CEO of LinkedIn says, if your product is perfect when you launched it too late. Like, it's not supposed to be perfect.
Yeah.
Allow your product to evolve. And the money you make from the product allows you to make it better.
Yeah. And one of the other things that you mentioned, you gave that really great example of the drone boss. And I think that ties into not just the personal branding piece, but what you just mentioned with regards to being able to charge those higher prices. When you overcome that challenge of identity and you see that you're bringing something unique to the marketplace, it just kind of becomes like, I have to charge higher because I'm not like everybody else. But when you look around low key and you haven't done that work to figure out what makes you unique, it kind of, I would say it aids people in keeping their prices low, because they look at everybody else. They're like, yo, they're doing the same thing. But the minute you can be like, yo, ain't nobody doing what I'm doing. So like that by default means I got to charge more, because why would I accept the little bit that the same people over there that's all doing the same thing, they cookie cutter, but I got that unique product, like you mentioned, like the Apple, that can't nobody go get it nowhere else but here. And for that reason, we got to charge more.
And I want to say part of that is being okay, going back to identity, being okay with being disruptive.
Yeah.
So I straddle the fence with this. I keep my little annoyances to myself, and my friends behind the scenes like, you need to say something about this. You need to publish this. I'll be like, just keep it to myself. But being disruptive in the marketplace, the people that we remember leave a mark.
Right.
They say something and it can be, and I'm going to use this person. No, I don't even want to use their name because I'm mad to even say that person's name. I'm going to say that person's name.
Okay.
I ain't even want to say it. First person that came to my mind was Kevin Samuels. And I was like, I can't even think, like, I don't even want to say the person's name. That's how I feel. But that's a disruptive character that said stuff that other people may have said, but in that packaging and in that way, it stood out. You know, if we're talking about podcasts, like some of the podcasts that may stand up, the relationship ones drive me insane. I'd be like, these people don't know what they're talking about. Sometimes the business ones too drive me a little crazy. But it gets people to remember you. So what I'm trying to encourage experts to do, especially I work with primarily women entrepreneurs, is we can't straddle the fence no more.
No.
We got to put a line in the sand and say, this is what it is. And we got to stand on what we believe.
Yeah.
And make it very clear. Now, what's going to happen? You are going to attract people. They're going to be like, I'm with you. You got your beehive. And you're going to repel people. They can't stand you down like nothing you do. That's the part of an attractive brand. Your brand is supposed to attract and repel.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're doing a good job. So going into this new year, I am going to push myself to be more disruptive and say some things that people don't like. You know, they going to have to choose a side, pick a side. Because it'll make you stand out, but also it got to be stuff you believe. You don't just be saying stuff just to say it because it's part of your brand. But it needs to be stuff that you believe, and you got to be okay with being out there, being on the skinny branch, waving that flag about whatever that belief is. But put yourself out there a little bit more. Like, let's stop trying to be the same and be agreeing with everybody and saying what everybody. Either way, people not gonna like what you say anyway.
Right.
So you might as well be yourself.
Right. And I think that even applies not just to the content that we're putting out or the messaging that goes out, but even when it comes to the service and the product that you're producing. You know, we're going to talk a little bit about online courses, but even if we just look at it from a coaching perspective, you don't have to provide the same type of coaching that everybody else does or do it in the same way that they do. And I think that that's another way of being disruptive, where if somebody says, hey, I only do live events, or I only, coach via audio. Like I'm only going to get on the phone. I ain't going to be on no Zoom with you. Like doing something like that is disruptive, where everybody else is like, they on Zoom, they on video, they not doing live, they only doing virtual. And just by the way you deliver your service, you can stand out, you can disrupt the market. And that in and of itself will do what? Like you mentioned, it'll attract some and repel others. Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've been dropping gems like in addition to what we had already talked about, just to summarize the points that you just made recently, is recognizing that your personal branding also applies to how you're able to charge more, right? Understanding that that's something that you should be doing, not later, like get to doing it now, get to doing it soon. And I think that that's something that people definitely need to be made aware of. So I'm really glad that you pointed that out. And that kind of leads us into the fact that some coaches have been coaching for years doing the one-on-one thing, and they're starting to get burned out. And they're like, yo, are there other ways for me to make money outside of doing this one-on-one thing? Why do you think that they tend to, I would say, kind of postpone getting out of doing just one-on-one coaching?
So I'm going to say one-on-one is easy money. It's for one person. Yeah. You can grow a 6-figure business coaching one-on-one. If the prices are right, and you're not charging hourly, and you have packages, you can make 6 figures. So it depends on what your goal is, but you want more time. So for me, I had to transition, and I still do some one-on-one coaching, but it's packaged. It's still group. It's a hybrid.
Okay.
And even my coach is like, you need to let one-on-one go. You need to let it go. And I'll be like, I still like it. Right. So I get it.
Yeah.
But it will suck your time. So even for me, as we are looking at a new year, I'm like, we need to restructure some things so I can get my time back. My time is my most precious commodity.
Right.
So for me, in full transparency, I've told my clients this. I was like, listen, I'm in a different part of my life. I started this business at like 20 something. I'm 30 something. I'm single. I want to have children. I want to be outside.
Right.
And I can't be inside talking just to y'all. I'm transparent.
Yeah.
I can just, I want to have a dating life. I believe your life is not just supposed to be about your business.
Right.
I put a lot of things on hold to build a business and have, finish school. So in this new iteration of my life, I want to have space for children. I want to have space for a spouse.
Right.
So I have to create that. And I say that publicly and unapologetically. So if I want to create that type of space in dating life for me, I can't be just sleeping with my laptop because I got a coaching call, 10 hours, 7 o'clock. Where does my real life fit into this?
Right.
So just out of, and I talk to my clients about this. I'm like, you got to put in time for your life, vacation, family, personal time, self-care. Like that stuff is important.
Right.
It is just equally as important as you running your business, because if you feel amazing, then you will do amazing things in the world. Like right now, be transparent. I was like, man, I need to go book an eyebrow appointment because it ain't no way that I allow if I'm not going to wear makeup, your brows got to be something, right? After this, I was like, listen, these nails got to get done. This is a self-care day.
Yeah.
My calendar is closed, but clients can still be served. Sales are still coming in because we have digital products. So I can live my life.
Right.
That's important to me. I'm, a friend of mine is having a birthday party and out of town, and I'm able to fly and go. Why? Because if it was a business event, I'd be like, of course I'm going. But this is a friend that I've known for 15 years plus. Yes, I'm going to be there for you.
Right.
So this is the new part of my life where, and sometimes it's in my content where I'm like, I want to live life.
Right.
COVID had me inside. I want to live life. I want to spend time with people.
Yeah.
I want them to know that I value them. If I didn't get anything else from the pandemic, I got that.
Yeah.
I want them to know that I value them. So if they are having a birthday party, if we're having a celebration, I want to be able to take time out of my calendar and not feel like, man, I'm missing coaching calls.
Yeah.
I want to take time out of my calendar and say, I want to be present for this moment with you. I want to celebrate you. So that's just, for me, that's the part of the phase of life I'm in. So having a calendar full of one-on-one clients is not the best use of my time.
Right.
And not the best use of my happiness, even though I enjoy coaching. There are ways that you can do this in a group and still be beneficial.
Right.
I do believe people do need some level of one-on-one. But a lot of times people use it as an excuse, like, oh, my clients won't get the results that they need with me. So one of the things that we have done, well, in our mastermind, we have coaches inside of it. And some of those coaches are people who've been past clients, who know my methodologies, who've gone through my programs, products, and services. And then they can support clients on my behalf. And that's a beautiful thing. When you work with other experts, I don't have to feel like, oh my goodness, they got to be like me.
Right.
I'm going to be the best version of them and show up for that person. So that's important. So I would say, look for opportunities in coaching clients you already have that could possibly be your replacement.
Yeah.
Part of what we need to understand in this marketplace is it's time for us to ascend. And when we don't ascend into the next level and we're not promoted to that next level of where we need to be, we are blocking somebody else's promotion and blessing. We ain't supposed to be where we're supposed to be forever.
Right.
So whatever level you're at, there's another level. And somebody else is supposed to take the level that you're currently at because they're vying for that. That's their goal. That's their next milestone. So you got to move out the way.
Yeah.
Somebody else can ascend to where you currently are and you blocking it.
Right.
So if you feel the call to need to revamp your business, doing it at the end of the year, reevaluating how you structure things can really help. I used to do like these cohorts. I would do like 6 weeks on, 6 weeks off. Then I realized if I just give them the content and I just come on twice a month, I was still doing the same amount of time of hours, but less work.
Right.
And then the next phase of that is to get somebody else to do it because they've already been supported.
Right.
And then I can move over to the higher level task because I'm called to work with extremely successful people.
Right.
And I need to ascend into that. I'm supposed to have celebrity clients.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be working with people who are 7 figures, multiple 7 figures, 8 figures and beyond. I'm supposed to be making major decisions for companies and corporations.
Right.
But if I'm boggled down because I'm like, oh my goodness, Sue needs this one-on-one time with me because she can't get no other coach better than me.
Right.
That's ego. It's time to ascend. So just reevaluate how you currently structure your program.
Yeah.
And if you're an expert and I promise you're saying the same things over and over and over and over again. It's probably a sign that you need to have a curriculum, a course, some type of product, some type of training that you can be letting them go through.
Yeah.
And you're just supporting them with making powerful decisions so that they can get to the transformation that they desire.
Nah, that's good. That's good because, coaches who are struggling with the one-on-one and dealing with the burnout, like you mentioned, it's really important to analyze why is that an issue for you first and foremost? Like, is it because it's time to transition into something else, or is it because you're not properly managing what you are currently doing, your current workload? Then, just to summarize the things that you have mentioned, I think it's really important for them to be clear on the type of lifestyle that they want to live and making sure that your workload, all of that aligns with that lifestyle. Because that's what I heard you saying. You had a lifestyle that didn't necessarily align with what you were doing. And you realize like, hey, in order for me to be able to live the type of life that I want to live, I got to make some changes when it comes to the products, the services that I'm offering. And I think that that's really important, is really touching base on what lifestyle do I want to live. And then I think the other piece of that is even future pacing it, right? Where you're looking into the future and saying, where do I want to be? What do I want to accomplish? And that being just as important when it comes to figuring out what type of services you want to offer going forward.
Absolutely. I love this. I love your recaps. Beautifully said. That's why I'm dealing with a veteran. He's a vet. That's very quality right there.
No. And it's for two reasons, right? One, wanting to make sure that I'm hearing you correctly. And then secondly, as people are listening, they may have been like, yo, I know there was a point that she had made and, like it just slipped out my mind. We can kind of give them a refresher before we jump to the next thing. I think that that's really helpful because then they're like, okay, yeah, that's what it is. And yeah, okay, now let's see how it builds on where we're about to go next. So yeah, I definitely appreciate you for just coming on here, man. Yo, you've been dropping so many gems.
Thank you.
Yes.
Listen, learn from our mistakes. That's what I've been trying to tell people as part of my life. I feel a little bit more seasoned. The older lady said, you finally older now. I'm closer to 40 than I am to 20.
Right.
They told me I'm seasoned now. So just learn, from our mistakes.
Right.
And I just try to tell people, listen, just go for it. Go after your wildest dreams. Like, what does it look like for us to just say yes to our wildest dreams, our wildest expectations?
It's so important.
And just go after it. Like, go for it.
Right.
Be willing to fail. It's okay. You'll get back up.
Exactly. I love that. And when it comes to, like the online courses, like what challenges have you faced when it comes to transitioning out of the one-on-one coaching and getting into selling digital products?
So the funny thing is, I tried this whole thing of like, I was a teacher. My background's in education. I started my business in the Republic of Kazakhstan. I was in Central Asia developing and training teachers.
Wow.
Right. Even though I was feeling impostery.
Right.
I was doing big things at a young age. So I was developing curriculum. I've honestly been developing curriculum since 16 years old.
That long?
But I did not see it as that. That's why that identity, doing more self-reflection, therapy, going back to who I actually have been all my life. Then I'm like, oh crap, you've been doing this. Yeah. Go back to your resume.
Right.
So I have been, I'm going to brag a little bit, but this part, I have an Ivy League degree from an institution in education. I have a PhD in curriculum and instruction.
Wow.
So the course creation, lesson plan, teacher part, that was just me. I've been a teacher since 3 years old. My mother came to preschool and I said, can I stay after school? Because the kids didn't finish on their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. And I got to help the teacher. Yeah. At 3 years old, this was me. So when I came in the online space, the first thing is I was trying to like move away from being a teacher, being an educator, because that was the brand I was building.
Right.
Then I realized after doing some research, people who were building their brands, I was like, well, why are you not making money online? I interviewed 40 people.
Wow.
They had websites, they had photos, they had tote bags and all the stuff that says I got a business. But they didn't have no business. They didn't have a product. So I realized they need a product. And I said, dun, 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 a digital product, of course.
Right.
So then that's when this whole course element was birthed.
Wow.
For me, it's a lesson plan. Man, I had 100 kids. I really taught in Philadelphia. Like, this is lightweight. We did this every day. Like, so the thing that I was the most insecure about being an educator and not having an MBA was the thing that people wanted from me.
Wow.
They wanted to know how to do this.
Wow.
And I kind of put it on a back burner. And then one of my mentors was like, listen, you really need to do this thing. Like, you need to do it.
Right.
And I was like, whatever. And then I was like, wait a minute. You paying this man. You better listen to him.
Right.
You pay him a lot of money. And then I was like, I gotta listen. So I just kind of slightly transitioned from leaning towards just talking about branding to being more niched and saying, okay, we create courses. We got the course queens. We doing, courses.
Yeah.
So over some time, some people only know me about creating online courses. But if you look at what I really build is brands. Your course is the curriculum. It's your expertise. It's the information part of your business.
Yeah.
The brand is how we market it and sell the rest of it, because many of our experts are also speakers and coaches and authors, and they want to expand their brand.
Right.
But the productization of that is to create a digital product, which is an online course, by packaging your expertise. So that's how we got to that transition. And I've just been leaning more on that. I still lean on brand. I go back and forth. My coach be like, you need to make a decision.
Yeah.
You need to make. And I'll be like, see, don't do what I do. Do what I say. That's what I'm saying to people, right? Don't make your life harder.
Right.
Drone boss.
Right.
But ultimately, the umbrella of why I'm doing all this is because of building a brand. And the whole point of me like doubling down on courses was because I know how to build a brand. I can change my brand tomorrow and be like, oh, we the video boss.
Right.
There might be a video boss. We the podcast queen.
Right.
I got like 2 podcasts out there. But like, I know how to build brands.
Yeah.
So it's creative and it's fun in my head. I come up with a theme. I come up with an idea. And we can craft an entire business model around it.
Right.
That's just because it's easy. Like, we did it this morning. We do it tomorrow. I don't even have to think about it. So I can see the real full bigger picture. So when I'm working with those 6 and 7 figure people, we are working on expanding their brand. Part of that expansion might be a digital product, a membership, a live event, that it'll have some element of a course in it, but we just expand it.
Right.
So I encourage you to just, if you have an expertise, and even now with courses, there's some other elements that we're taking to the next level, because I realized I was like, when they come in for courses, I'll be like, y'all thought y'all was going to get a course, but it's bigger than that.
Right.
I let them know that on day one. I didn't trick you. I'm going to give you what I said I'm going to give you.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give you way more than you ever expected. It's bigger than a course, because now this is the next level. Like, how do we make this higher level topic? You can sell your course to corporations.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm looking for the bigger check. I said, okay, how do we get out of this 101? You want a course? Okay, cool. You want this course? It's a cool idea, but can we sell this to AT&T? Can we get a $20,000, $30,000 check?
Right.
Okay, you're in education. You got some lesson plans. Can we sell that to the school district of San Antonio, Texas?
Right.
Can we can all the kids in the district get your course now? Can we get the bigger check?
Yeah.
Can we start turning some of the things into certifications so you can remove yourself and you're just selling your process and your system? So I'm now in a space where I'm like, how can we get the bigger check?
Right.
Still with the online course, but how do we make more from what we're already doing? Because a lot of these skills that we've learned as coaches and marketers and creators, regular people don't know half the stuff we do.
No.
They don't know about Chat GPT. They don't know about the equipment.
Right.
Like, they don't understand it, but there's a bigger check.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make us think bigger and not just beyond that one-on-one. That's why you got to remove yourself from the one-on-one space, because literally you can be doing one-to-many. What if Coca-Cola wants to buy your course?
Right.
You know? And then when we're talking about, we kind of had a conversation off the scenes about podcasting. Like literally this morning I'm in a group. There was a request from some company that wants to start a podcast and they're willing to pay, I think I'm going to make up some numbers, $20,000 to learn how to put a podcast together. Now I'm pretty sure you or somebody who's watching this is like, wait a minute now.
Right.
I can get them some equipment. I can get a mic. I don't know. I want to mess up my mics. I can tell them I can go on Amazon. I can do a couple of things for a couple of $1,000. There's still enough meat on that $25,000 situation for me to have a good day. So that's the way that's the wave in the level of where I'm trying to expand my target market beyond just selling a course for $97. Literally, there's a $90,000, $100,000 contract with your name on it. And it could be the course is the platform. So I think that's the next iteration of what I probably need to be talking about more in the marketplace. Like it's so much bigger than that. We can be making so much more and making more impact by teaching what we know.
Right. Wow. Like I mentioned, like you had already dropped gems and then you just kind of just stacked onto it because we were just talking about the importance of lifestyle, the importance of looking towards the future. And now you just kind of expanded that and said, hey, like it's time to think bigger. Like, don't just think of, oh, I'm selling this course and I'm going to just sell it to, B2C. Right. Start thinking B2B, like put that course into the hands of corporations, put it into the hands of school districts and even go beyond that. Right. Even get to the point where, hey, maybe you're even selling your course to the government. Like there you think that large. Right. So I love that because you have really come in and just kind of framed where coaches need to, place their mindset. And it's beyond what we may see. Like sometimes we have those blinders on and we can only see but so far in front of us. And I think that goes back to a point that you made at the very beginning about the importance of having a coach, having a mentor, having somebody that can say, hey, you got to think bigger. Like you got to stretch yourself beyond what you are currently doing. And I absolutely love that. With that in mind, you kind of teased a little bit about where you're headed in the new year. I'm curious to know, like what projects are you currently working on or excited to get accomplished by the end of 2024?
Before the end of 2024?
So yeah, by this time next year, what do you want to have accomplished?
Oh man. Yeah. Okay. Goodness gracious. You gave me a year. I thought you were about to end of this year. Okay. So I am. So one of the iterations we have, I'm celebrating 2024 I'm celebrating 10 years in business. So
that's amazing.
I have
Congrats.
ambitious things that need to happen between now and then. Some of the things include, and you can incorporate your courses into this stuff too, is brand partnerships and brand deals. What I understand is there are other people that are supposed to be paying me to do the things I already do. So we talked about podcasting. There's brands that want to be a part of what you are creating. And Jay has been extremely consistent, like me with this podcast situation. So there's people who are like, man, we love your consistency. We want to pay you to do what you're already doing. So I'm looking for those kind of conversations. I've already been working with people. Listen, I heavily invest in mentorship and coaching. If I'm going to spend, if it's taken over probably $300,000 plus to educate me, and that's on the low end, let's say $300,000 to $500,000. I'm willing to invest that in my business education so that I can make millions. So that's where my mindset is. So again, I'm like, listen, I'm just pay this money. Pay my minimum balance. I'm living on the edge a little bit, right? I'll be like, listen, I don't like living like this. I like good credit. I like low balances, but I'm stretching myself because of these goals. So I'm investing. I'm working with people, some of the top people when it comes to sponsorship. And I'm like, okay, how do I get my name in the door, my foot in the door? So sponsorship and brand deals is one thing. Corporate contracts and corporate consulting. Because them folks need my courses, coaching. They need some stuff, and not even just my stuff. So one of the other things that I'm trying to do is if they say, oh, we need a mental health course, we have clients that are therapists. I'm trying to get my people in too. So this is why I want to know what everybody's doing. I'm like, the other one is partnerships. Not just brand deals, but partnerships with other business owners. Because if I see a bid, a corporate contract, or I see a government contract bid, because we're going to get into that too, government contracts, that says, oh, they want to put a podcast together, I know who to call. I'm like, literally, I'd be sending people messages. I'd be like, listen, they need this. You fill it out, we're going to do some things. We have a contract. Well, we have a meeting. I don't know what it's about. I don't got no NDAs, so I can talk right now. Well, there's a meeting with a college to do some digital marketing stuff for them. Like, I'm just looking at who can I partner with? Who can we make money with? Who can we go to the top with? So I have a lot of eggs in different baskets. That's what I keep telling. I'm like, listen, I got my vitamins. I got my smoothies, my water. I keep my energy.
You ready?
I go back to the gym. When you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Facts. So I'm always looking for opportunities. And what I understand is all these opportunities are not for me. Doing more speaking, hosting more events. Part of what we want to do as we go into the next year is host events around the world. So we're going to be premiering a trip to Dubai soon, in the next 30 days. And it's called the Brilliant and Wealthy Retreat. Because I want brilliant women to see wealth. And if we're talking about opulence and over the topness, we got to go to Dubai. Why not? Dubai is over the top. Like, the taxis are Lexuses. They're like, I was like, oh, I'm in a Lexus. My brother's like, you're in a taxi? Like, I'm not even impressed. So we talking about that expansion. You got to see something you've never seen before. You got to go to places you've never been so you know what the possibilities are. Like, some of the things, our goals are pennies to some people. And we have to expand. So I'm on an expansion journey and I want to take people with me on that journey. So part of that is hosting events around the world. That first iteration will be Dubai. Then we're going to go to Ghana. So, and just saying, hey, I'm just putting ideas out there. Listen, I could crash and fall, people, but I'm going to put it out there.
And like you mentioned earlier, even if you do fall, get right back up.
We're going to get right back up. Because listen, these bills, I still got to pay these bills. And we got bills to pay. These lights, somebody got to pay it. So I'm going to keep going. And so speaking and traveling and supporting more leaders, going after bigger contracts, working with companies and corporations. And I'm going into this 2024, even right now, to this thing called this, if you've ever heard of the book by Shonda Rhimes called The Year of Yes. I had just made the decision and I'm going into another year of yes.
I love that.
And I thought it was going to happen in 2024, but it actually started happening now. And you talked about government contracts. A client literally this week sent me, I gotta sign up, and I'm playing games. This is a contract for an entity, a state entity that wants courses, business related, and no, they want branding courses. And what they want to pay per person. Listen, I ain't signed nothing. We just gonna put stuff. I was like, she was like, Sade, they looking for a branding course. And I was like, well, how much do they pay per course? And let's just say they pay a couple of $1,000s per course.
That's beautiful.
And I was like, well, how many people are going to take the course? 100 to 200 people. So even if I charged them $1,000, which I'm not, it's going to be more. Times 100 people, that's already 100,000. Times 200. I was like, what? So there's so much more. But you got to get into the right spaces. You got to your heart got to be ready. Your mind, your energy got to be right so you can expand and receive the things that you've been sowing seeds for years. So there's some stuff I'm just like, it's mind boggling to me every day. And I just be like, whoo. I just be like, and now not act like an imposter. I act like I'm supposed to be there. I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be there. This is good. And it's just, I'm blessed. I'm highly favored. Life is not perfect. And that's another thing. People try to make it seem like it's perfect. It ain't perfect.
No.
But I just still operate in perfection every single day. Maybe that's a quote I put on Facebook today. Life is not perfect.
Right.
I just choose to respond to it differently because I got bills. Maybe that's what I got bills. I got some loans. I have other responsibilities. I have nieces and nephews. I have things that I want to do for myself and for my family.
Yeah.
And it requires money. So I keep going. Yeah. But I feel excited.
Yes.
I be just trying to keep my composure, keep it cool, calm, classy. But I literally, this lights me up.
Yeah.
So there's great things going into 2024.
Amazing.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
We're just, I'm just working on me. Like I said, going back to our original conversation.
Right at the top.
Right at the top, bringing it back.
Yes.
The best thing you can do for yourself is work on you.
Yes.
So some of my goals are going into 2024 are not necessarily, I have monetary goals. I want to have $1 million business in 2024, multi-million-dollar business.
Right.
But what does that $1 million person look like?
Right.
She needs to be healthier.
Right.
Ma'am, you're getting older. Okay. You don't got them mega knees no more. Listen, I'm not in the 20s no more. We're closer to 40 than we are to 30. Than we are to 20. Making sure, somebody who wants to be an older parent, making sure I'm taking care of myself.
Right.
Having my green smoothies and my collagen. Listen, black dude crack. We got to take care of it. Making sure I'm drinking more water.
Yes.
And taking care of my body. Working out. I've been messing up on that one, but working out and just being more conscious of what I put in my body so that I can be prepared for the life that I'm creating.
Right.
So
I absolutely love that.
Approach.
Love that. Yo, this has been a phenomenal conversation. Like, you are super genuine. Like, you came on here, dropped so many gems. And with that in mind, kind of going back to one of the things that you talked about, which is getting coached, getting mentored. If there are coaches who are tuned in and they're like, yo, I want to work with you. How can I get in contact with you? I need to be in your ecosystem, your environment. How can they do that? How can they work with you?
Be in our, and I say that, like, be in the ecosystem, because it absolutely is an ecosystem. One of the things I say, sometimes I might not be your person, but I may know your person.
That's good.
So I'm more than happy, because it is an ecosystem, to refer you to someone who may be a better fit. That's always what I'll say to people. If you ask, if you're looking for something and I'm not a good fit, I know amazing people. Yeah. You can find me at Hey Dr. Shade or Hey Dr. Shade or Sade. Blame my parents for spelling it that way. You can find me on all the social media. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook is where I spend the most of my time. You can find me at Hey Dr. Shade. You can connect with me on my website, but connect with me on social media and let's have a conversation and let me know you found me here. Okay. Let me know that. Let's stay connected. Let's be in community. Let's be in an ecosystem together. Yes. And definitely, I would say coaching and mentorship is a game changer. It will change your life. The best athletes have mentors and coaches. They would not win games, tournaments, and Super Bowls without them. Yeah. So if you want to be a winner, you want to be a champion in this digital space, the best thing that you can do is invest in you.
Yeah. That's good. And like I mentioned, you've dropped so many gems on us today. Before we go, were there any last or closing words that you wanted to share? Any questions for me before we wrap up today?
What's my last thing? My last thing is, it's okay to be you. Yes. We just going to bring that back. It is okay. I spent so much time trying to be a fraction of myself in the academic space. I felt like I had to be an academic person, and in the business space, I had to feel like I had to be a business person, until I realized through myself and mentorship and therapy, it's okay to just be you.
Yeah.
You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to have it all figured out. And you can still be successful, imperfect, make six figures and more by being your imperfect self. And that is honestly what's going to make you stand out in the marketplace. Be okay with being you.
I love that. Absolutely love that. Thank you so much, Dr. Sade, for coming on, dropping so many gems. If you're ever interested in coming back and being a guest on the podcast, you have an open invitation. But thank you so much for everything that you shared with us today. I truly appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.